to work.
You white bitch, give me some chon chon.
Chinga tu madre. I think
Oh,
that's the sense.
it's not nice.
No, but no, we were just saying, fucking Popeye's audio is the only one that kept taking me out of this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I had always heard of this movie. I had never seen it. I think I had only seen like the beginning, the part where Miklo uh gets in the fight with the tres puntos.
yeah,
I think that's the only part I had ever seen as a kid. And then like I'd never seen the rest of the movie.
what's called the only part I vaguely remember. I think my dad was watching this on TV once. Is the part where they jump Cruz, and that's the only part I remember. Because I remember someone, because I was a little kid, and they dropped him on the fire hydrant. I'm like, why did that hurt? It was not big. My
Dude,
kid mind didn't understand a broken back.
the fucking dialogue in that scene where he's getting it on with the chick. I'm gonna paint you, mi mamacita. I'm gonna paint. You're gonna be my portrait. I'm like, oh my god.
Hey, but it worked, didn't it?
I guess.
I would say it worked. Fucking, well, wait, Fernie, do the intro. We need a proper intro for this.
Hey everybody, this is Fernando from the Rollback Podcast, and today Eddie and I are doing a Wednesday rewind. And today's Wednesday rewind is the cult classic Blood In, Blood Out.
A movie from 1991 that you and me had never really seen. Is it fair to say, does this movie have a big legacy that we're not aware of? Because I've always heard of it, but it doesn't seem to be in the same like upper echelon as like Silence of the Lambs or Godfather. Like it's not held up there.
It's a very niche movie. Oh, I think it's a cult classic, especially with Latinos. Mostly because there's not a lot of I mean, there it does perpetuate the stereotype that that Latinos are criminals, but whatever, it's still a good movie. But for the most part, yeah, like one of the few things that you get in this movie is that these guys all come from the same neighborhood and they all go their different ways. It's pretty much just like their environment, but I think it is a cult classic with Mexican Americans. I think even people that like film as well.
Yeah. The so okay, so spoiler, folks. Me and Fernie are cousins. In case you didn't know. I think it's fair to say, like, the side of family that we share, like with our dads, is nothing like this as far as like the gang life or whatnot.
But let's be clear. A lot of what you see in pop culture, especially like when it comes to Mexicans in movies, it's California Mexicans.
That's true. We're South
Like
Texas Mexicans. That's true.
yeah, like it's not the type of Mexican American that we are. That's the thing that I've always, I guess, found weird. I mean, that's why we never really relate to a lot of this stuff is because a lot of this stuff is not like what we're like or what we deal with.
Mhm. I partially agree with you. I think that there are aspects that like we are relatable. Like
Oh yeah, like there's always going to be
family
aspects.
always, huh?
There's always going to be aspects like that we can relate with, like the strong family bonding and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, but like the cholo aspect, like the gang aspect, it's different here.
Somewhat. And I'll say this, and I'm not going to name names, but I would say my other side of my family is a little closer to this.
Eddie, are you trying to say your family's ghetto?
Shut the fuck up, Freddie. I'm trying to say
Hey,
there's.
you're the one skirting the line here.
Yeah, and I want to skirt that line properly, motherfucker. There are parts of the other side of my family that are relatable to this. Again, I'm not going to name names, but why am I going to pretend like it doesn't? I don't know. That's why I did actually find some of this movie relatable. Um, Minor, again, strictly from someone on the outside looking in, part of like the
I'm
gang
on
aspect of
the
it.
outside. I'm looking in.
God damn it, Freddie. But
Well,
yeah,
I
I
mean, you
actually
hit
did
me
find
with a
something relatable.
stained. You
Huh?
can't expect me not to sing the song.
Um, but yeah, this movie was somewhat relatable, man. Do you think so? Okay, let's start from the beginning. Fucking movie opens up. Miklo is going back to Los Angeles.
Well, let's open up about who Miklo is. Miklo is a white Mexican. It's kind of like we've seen it in movies, especially where the character is like African American and like let's say their mom is white and their dad's black or the other way around. They
Yeah,
deal with not being accepted in their culture. It's the same thing for Miklo. His dad is white and his mom is Mexican.
yeah.
And like his dad is clearly either he's racist or he's upset that he's not with the mom anymore, that he like completely treats Miklo like shit.
Yeah, he's very abusive. I can't tell though if it's to, and again, this is looking at it from the racist dad's perspective. He's trying to beat the like Hispanic out of him and be like, no, you're white, you're not Hispanic. I don't know if he's coming at him from like a racist standpoint or if it's legitimately like because his kid is a bit of a fuck up. Apparently, he's on probation.
Yeah, so he's on probation in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. So we're not sure which way or the other, but he does end up getting back to Los Angeles, and that's where we're introduced to his cousins, Paco and Cruz. Each are very
The
all three.
fact that his legal name is Paco is fucking, oh my God.
Uh, what's called but they're all very different Hispanics. Like Cruz is the artist, the tagger kind of guy. We have
So
Paco,
Cruz has the most potential.
and
Like he's in some art competition.
he wins.
Like yeah, and he wins. Like he has the most potential.
Yeah, and then we got Paco, who apparently was a boxer. He broke his wrist, and now he's
Oh,
just a
el gallo
very angry
negro.
young man.
El gallo negro.
Yeah,
The
and
black cock. I'm sorry, black rooster. My bad. I
I mean,
interpreted that wrong.
that's technically his name. You're not wrong for any.
It's true.
Well, what are you gonna do? So we got these three kids, and I think you can tell me I'm wrong, but I think the event that sets everything into motion is when they see Tres Putos tagging up near Cruz's
Hey
dad's
man,
auto shop.
I don't want to say I don't want to be mean here, but you really need to accentuate that N in puntos. I'm just saying, you
Tres
just
Puntos.
really go for that N in there.
I can't tell if you're fucking with me or giving me honest advice.
It's a little both.
Anyway, that the TP gang, fucking whatever, is tagging up a spot. And I would say the most important like 30 seconds of the whole fucking film, arguably, is Miklo wants to go fight. Cruz is telling them to back off, like, hey man, like just let it go. And Paco is kind of antagonizing Miklo, very much like, oh, you want to go fight? You want to be a big man? Go fight him, go ahead, rather than trying to talk him down. And Miklo gets like this pipe, breaks the back window, and it's on.
Yeah,
And
because
that
Miklo has
fucking
always
thing
had to prove himself
cascades.
because he's not. It's like it really is that famous scene from uh Selena, the Selena movie where Edward James Olmos is to be Mexican American, you have to be more American than the Americans, you have to be more Mexican than the Mexicans.
Yeah, yeah, that's completely right.
So he has to like be more Mexican than the Mexicans because he's half white.
He can't he doesn't have the luxury of bitching out or being like, nah. Like, no, he has to go all in. And that one event cascades, Cruz wins the art show, and after they're having a big pachanga, they're having a big party for him. He goes off with a girlfriend to go mess around, and he
Uh,
gets jumped, and they break his fucking back. Brutal scene. They just beat the shit out of him. They cut his hand, am I right?
yeah.
And he's hospitalized, and the whole
Yeah, he
family's
gets
like,
really fucked up from it.
yeah. Um, and the family's devastated, and his cousins. I think, I think it's fair to say, man. Like, I think, what do you think about them wanting to avenge their cousin and take revenge? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think you're young and you're stupid. Of course you're going to want to take revenge, especially for your cousin that you've always looked at as a brother.
Yeah, it's
So, I mean, I understand it completely why they did what they did. Is it stupid? Yes. But I mean, that's their brother.
yeah,
It's Crucito.
yeah. So they do take revenge. They surround the gang. They end up, I think, Miklo tackles the one that kind of was like in Cruz's face, tackles him, holds him down, while Paco, I think,
Scorpion?
huh?
Was his name Scorpion?
I think was it no Spider. They carved
I knew it
Spider.
was like some sort of fucking animal.
Scorpion might have been a better name, but they carve LV into Spider's chest. I let him go, and they're like, "All right, we're done. We're even. Like no murder, but like we fucked you up the way you fucked up our cousin." And then Spider pulls a gun, shoots at them, and Miklo's hit. They run from the cops, against a collision.
Yeah, Miklo gets shot protecting Paco.
Yeah. And Baco doesn't leave him, to Baco's credit, which that's what you would expect with a guy that's, basically your brother. He doesn't leave him. They both get arrested, but that's where they branch off themselves. Baco enlists in, I think, the Marines to avoid prison time, whereas Miklo is sentenced to, I think, 9 years in prison.
Yeah.
And
So Miklo goes straight to jail because he breaks his probation. and Paco decides to go into the Marines, I guess, to save his life. Is that a real thing? I've always seen that pop up in movies.
That you can avoid jail time by joining the Marines.
Yeah, like I know that
Only
was like a big thing back in the day.
jail time by joining the army? Question mark. No, you could request it, but if a judge orders you, with the exception of the U.S. Navy, each of the four branch forces has a regulation. Oh, so you could, but they
Ah,
would have to accept you. Like you'd have to apply, and the army would have to decide if you're worth the risk or not. Which I believe
interesting.
Paco's dad was a Marine, so he kind of had,
Yeah, yeah. His stepdad was a Marine.
yeah, so he has an in. So that happens, and then fuck, man, these guys go in such different directions. Who do you want to talk about first? We'll talk about them from beginning to end.
Let's go with Crucito.
All
Because
right,
what's interesting is like there's three storylines that pop up in the movie. It's Crucito's story, Paco's, and Miklo.
yeah. And they do intertwine. They do a good job of balancing them out. I never felt like any of them were the main character. I felt like they were legitimately like sharing the spotlight. Granted, it's a long fucking movie, man. It's
Yeah, I got up to the part I think where Miklo goes to jail
mm,
the first time, and
mm.
I was like, oh man, like this movie's probably almost done. And I was like, oh shit, I'm only an hour in.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was 3 hours beforehand before I started watching it.
I watched the 90-minute version.
Oh,
I wonder what the differences are. Hmm.
you watched the 90-minute version?
Yeah, I wanted to know the whole story. I like watching director's cuts. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Um,
90-minute version. The director's cut isn't 90 minutes, isn't it longer?
yeah, it's 190 minutes.
Oh, 190 minutes. You
Yeah,
found it on
Hulu.
oh. Oh, the one on Hulu is the director's cut?
Yeah, it's 90 minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
then
190 minutes. I'm sorry.
yeah, then I saw the director's cut also.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we both caught everything. The fucking so Crucito has an art show, and he's very quickly like even when Paco goes to see him before he ships off, when he gives him a pill, he's like, "Hey, give me another one." Ah, fuck, he's gonna become an addict. Um, which I mean, I don't want to say it's understandable, but like, of course, he becomes addicted to painkillers. He broke his back.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the quickest that's probably one of the not quickest, but most understandable reasons why someone gets addicted is because I mean, you're given these pain pills by your doctor and I mean, yeah, they make you feel good.
But the thing is that after the first time, they begin to dull if you use them too much. So then you need a higher dose and a higher dose, and then, well, shit, you're an addict.
Oh, and then he starts doing heroin.
Yeah, to numb the pain. He gets fucked up at his art show, which it sucks because at the art show, the art dealer even tells him, "You're sold out. Like everything's already spoken for. You're gonna make a lot of money from the show, and you got a long career ahead of you."
Yep.
And he fucks it up in one night. Um, God damn, man. I was pissed when his friend showed up. Like, just God damn it, man. You wanted better for him.
You mean the guy that plays Tuco in Breaking Bad?
And Ernie from George Lopez.
Oh yeah, Ernie. I forgot he's in that movie.
Yeah. But
But
yeah,
they're like low level gangsters compared to who Miklo gets put with in prison.
dude, they're street foot soldiers at best. Like they're nothing. But yeah, Cruz becomes addicted, has an art show. He's painting, he's dealing with his back pain and stuff. And his little brother looks up to him. And oh man, in a legitimately fucking tragic scene, Cruz does some, I think, heroin. And his little brother finds the needle and tries it, and he ODs. And the family's just devastated. His parents don't want to see him. You're dead to us. He barely shows up at the funeral. Like he knows he's not welcome. You caused this. You did this. And just fuck, man. That's
Yeah. Kills the brother by accident because he's doing heroin and his brother gets into it and he's just there with the fucking needle in his arm.
yeah. Man. What did you think when you saw all that? Like, did you know? Like, did you assume the little brother was gonna die?
Once when there's a younger sibling involved, they always die.
Ah, you're not incorrect.
They always die.
Ah, fucking hell. So yeah, Cruz continues to spiral. And it's weird. I think he has the biggest like character jump where he like forgives himself and his family embraces him.
Hmm.
He goes to visit his little brother and just talks to him and just I guess he has to get it all out. Like he for years he's dealing with this. Which
Yeah.
this movie spans like what, a decade, 2 decades?
I think a decade.
Yeah. So that's Cruz's story. Now, I mean, who do you want to cover next? Miklo or Paco?
Let's go Miklo.
Miklo. Okay. So he gets to the prison, and I think it's fair to say he's young and stupid when he gets there because the second that Popeye is like super friendly and like, hey man, like I got you, I'll take you under my wing. As a
Yeah.
young man, you think, oh man, thank God I have a friend. But we're
Yeah.
adults.
So he thinks Popeye is there like to help him out because they're both Latino. So he's like, oh, this guy's he's gonna help me out.
Yeah.
And nope, Popeye gives him a bunch of free stuff, and then he throws him into a cell, and he's like, "You white bitch, give me some chon chon."
Fuck. And I worked in a prison. I worked at a prison. Shit is pretty fucked up there, man. Like that's not actually far off from how it is. Like actual prison life. This movie's pretty fucking accurate. Um, just because like the gangs, they do legitimately break down into just Hispanic, black, or white. Like that's it. Like there's no subdivisions of gangs or whatever. It's legitimately three races, three gangs, and that's about it. Some
Mm.
jails will deny this. They actually separate them by race. Like they do. They legitimately will space out blocks. That way you're only with your people to decrease the likelihood of violence.
Yeah,
Sometimes. But man, Miklo gets so eventually he talks to Montana, who kind of I would say becomes his father figure, am I right?
yeah, I'd say it's fair that he becomes his father figure.
Um, and he kind of tells him like, look, if you want to join us, you're gonna have to do something and kill an enemy, but it's gonna have to be someone big for you.
Well,
Like,
remember before that, he runs into what's his face, the dude with the mustache, who's a three puntos guy. He's like, "What? You're hanging out with him?" He's like,
is it magic?
"Yeah," and he's like, "In prison, it doesn't matter. That's all outside shit."
Yeah. Which is again, like that's part of that older mentality. When you're young and stupid, it's like city blocks matter. But the older you get, you realize that's stupid. In the real
Yeah,
world, why does it matter where you're from? Just fucking be about your business. Um, but yeah, so he gets offered a spot if he can kill someone big. And I think he kills, is his name Wallace? No, it's not Wallace. It's who does he go after? I can't remember his name.
might be Walter.
Manny Big Al. Big Al is the one he kills. Who Big Al's sweet on him, and Miklo eventually like kills him and steals his money and helps Montana begin a gambling racket. Right, not even drugs, just gambling. And you see their numbers grow and they grow in power, but there's still a power struggle between the three factions. And Montana kind of tries to impart some wisdom. Montana is the guy that he's been through it, he's seen it all, and he's trying to mentor younger Hispanics and tell them like, dude, get your education. Don't come back. The best revenge that you can get is by not being here because here you're
Yeah,
just another number. You're giving them money. But if you're out there succeeding, you're helping our people, which, yeah, spoken like a man that's been through
yeah, yeah. Like one thing
it.
that we didn't mention is that Miklo has two stints in prison. So this is his first stint.
Yeah. Um, Montana encourages him to get his education. He gets his GED and tries to make a point of like, hey man, I'm better. Like I'm trying to better myself for when I get out. Which, yeah, he gets parole. He doesn't move up that high in the ranks, right? The first time with La Onda, right?
No,
Okay.
but he does join La Onda.
No, he joins, but I don't think he's as high on the council initially, right?
No,
Um, so he joins, he eventually leaves, and he becomes kind of disenchanted with probation, right? His boss is shaving his money and threatens to call his parole officer, but he doesn't just shut up and take it. He's living in an apartment with Popeye and like eight other guys, and he just has a little corner to himself. And yeah, he just fucking hates it and decides, all right, I'm gonna make moves then. Even with Cruz trying to tell him not to do it.
yeah. So the whole time he's like, he when he gets out of prison, he's really trying to do the straight and narrow. He's really trying not to fucking go back to jail. And the one thing that I mean, he tries. He's working, I think, a parole job that his PO probably gave him, and the guy's fucking crooked. So he's getting screwed by this guy. So he eventually just says, "Fuck this shit. I'm going back, and I'm just, I'm going back to crime."
Yeah, because I mean it's the only way he knows how to make a living for himself. And in his first crime, well, we should also mention this. Fucking Popeye sells him out by calling the cops and snitching out that they're gonna try to rob someone.
Yeah, because he's all butthurt.
That yeah, they was involved in the deal. And By chance, he runs into Paco, who we'll get into it later, but he ends up becoming a cop, a narcotics officer, and he ends up shooting Mikolo in the leg.
Which I don't understand how that gunshot fucking gets Mikolo to lose his entire leg.
If it hits a if it hits an artery, it's possible that they couldn't clip the artery, so they have to cut it higher and completely lose the leg because there wouldn't have enough, be enough circulation to keep the leg.
Oh,
That, but like that, dude, the odds of hitting that shot, like it's almost like he was kind of like, no, I want to take his leg. Let me aim for the artery. Like
I
that's
just don't
that's a
get
hard
why
shot.
he aimed for his fucking leg.
What?
I just don't get why he aimed for his fucking leg.
He don't want to kill him. He shoots him in the back. He could die.
Shoot him in the shoulder.
I mean, maybe he was trying to be merciful. You never know. He was like, for the foot, and then
Or pull a point break. Shoot in the air and then scream.
I thought that's
Ah!
that's what was gonna happen. Actually, I was like, nah, he's not gonna shoot. Oh fuck, he shot his cousin.
You know, he fucking shot fucking shot Miklo.
Miklo loses his leg, and dude, prison's tough when you're able-bodied, let alone when you're missing a leg. Jesus. But he rejoins La Onda, and
But this time he's things have changed in La Onda. So now there's a new guy who's trying to get La Onda to be like a bad fucking gang. And Montana's like, no, like this guy's fucking
Carlos.
stupid. Yeah, Carlos. He's like, this guy's fucking stupid. And so Miklo's seeing this also, and he's just kind of like, he's like, no, I think Carlos is right. He's just going about it the wrong way.
Yeah. And uh, Carlos ends up teaming up with the AV, the Aryan Vanguard, to sell the drugs not only within the prison but also outside of the prison. This what's happening in the prison is impacting outside in the real world. At one point, there's a fucking grenade that gets thrown into
Oh my God, that fucking scene. Well, first of all, grenades don't work that way.
it's the 90s.
Like on how that fucking grenade blew up. Like that's not how grenades work.
Yeah. Second,
Um, I just think it's funny that Ving Rhames is the fucking cop on the outside,
hmm,
and the guy who's the head of the Gorilla Brotherhood or whatever the fuck they're called,
yeah.
is the dude from the Core. Because I feel like he looks more like the cop, and Ving Rhames looks more like the criminal. Especially because if you've seen Pulp Fiction, Ving Rhames plays a criminal there.
Oh my God, you're not wrong. I didn't. He's from the Good Fight, Believe, Gone. Malcolm X. He was Archie. Huh. I did not recognize him. Oh shit, you're right.
That's right, I
Huh.
didn't recognize Ving Rhames. Oh
Um,
my God.
shut the fuck up. Any fucking way. So the actors and most of the actors in this movie are good. Fucking fuck, where were we?
Danny Trejo's in this movie.
Um Damian Chapa, who is legitimately like half and half. He is actually half Hispanic, half white.
Benjamin Bratt, I think probably has the best career leaving this movie. Other
I
than Ving Rhames and the guy I always remember him from the movie The Core.
Billy Bob Thornton is weirdly in this.
I forgot. Oh my God. When I was watching this movie, I was like, is that Billy Bob Thornton?
Dude, I'm not why though? Because apparently he had breakout success in 1986. Like I don't understand why. I don't understand.
This was a passion project for him. He just felt very passionate about being a part of the AV.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, dude, by that point he was already in fucking what?
I think he
Two?
did Monsters Ball like a year or two after.
Yeah. Dead Man, Sling Blade, The Winner. You know what movie's really underrated that he did? The Astronaut Farmer. I recommend it to everybody.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Armageddon.
Who the
That's
fuck
one
hasn't seen
order you
Armageddon?
shouldn't follow, and you fucking know it.
Who the fuck hasn't seen Armageddon?
I love Armageddon. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies. It's
Is
one
it?
is probably my favorite Michael Bay movie.
Really not the first Transformers?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I love the first Transformers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
To be honest, Transformers 1 through 3, love them. Um, but Armageddon was my shit.
We need to have a Michael Bay ranking episode at some point. God, there's a lot of movies we'd have to watch though. Fuck. Maybe we'll see. Not even the first or second Bad Boys.
Ooh, Bad Boys 2. You know, it might go up there. But I didn't have Bad Boys 2 on VHS as a kid, so I watched Armageddon a lot.
Let me see. What other Michael Bay? What else has he done? The Rock?
I mean, I know The Rock is like a lot of people's favorite.
Let's
I
see.
know like everyone, pretty much most reviewers say like The Rock is like Michael Bay's closest that he'll probably ever get to like Oscar worthy.
Is it that good? I've never seen The
Now
Rock.
that is what I've heard from several reviewers when it comes to that movie.
Mhm. I wonder. So okay, so here's his filmography real quick. We got Bad Boys, The Rock, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Bad Boys 2, The Island, Transformers 1, 2, and 3. Pain and Gain, I will say that that's a shit film and I will die on that hill.
I
Transformers
love
Ace.
Pain and Gain.
You like Pain and Gain?
Oh, it's hilarious.
Dude, maybe I need to rewatch it, but dude, I fucking hated it the first time I saw it. Like I was like, they're too stupid for me to enjoy this film. 13 hours. Transformers 4 and 5. I'm gonna
13 Hours is a fucking awesome movie.
I've never is that the one with John
Krasinski.
Krasinski? Right. I wonder, do you think John Krasinski is a real big like Go America boy? Because he's done a few like Go America projects.
Why is it Go America? It's usually most of these people isn't it's because of America. It's because of the troops, and they usually have people that in their life were veterans.
No, that's fair. I'm not knocking it. But I'm saying like I noticed like between 13 hours and Jack Reacher, I wonder if he's like very like how to say you know how Michael Bay is very like pro America because he always has the army in his films, he always has the US flag in his films, like patriotic in that sense. Do you think John Krasinski is?
Maybe.
Hmm.
Is there something wrong with that?
No, just an observation. I always noticed that, but I never like it's not a bad thing, it's just an observation. But let's see here. Let's get back to the movie about our people.
Not really our people. These are California Mexicans.
It's so good cautionary tale to watch. But Mikolo returns back to the prison. The La Onda is losing power, but Montana manages to strike up a truce with the leader from the BGA, which is the
The
African
Black
American.
Guerrilla Army,
Yeah, thank you. The
right?
black. Yeah. Wait, is it the Black Red Army? You
I
might be
want to say
right.
it is.
I think you might be right. Yeah, Black Guerrilla Army. You're completely right. So they strike up a truce while Montana promises to go. He's basically going to get a tour of the other prisons to kind of tell all the Hispanic.
Which is wild. They're like, we can get you out of here, like to go do your little truce.
It's actually legit, man. Like shit like that has happened in the past. To maintain order, it's happened. Um, but on a trip, he ends up getting assassinated. The assassin swears up and down that the BGA leader gave the order, and the BGA leader's like, "I never did. Like that's a lie. Someone set us up. Let's have a truce and let's work together against the AV." And Mikolo, who was left in charge of La Onda, agrees to the 6 month truce, and that leads up to in The Godfather we have the baptism of fire, right?
Yeah.
This I would call it the prison of blood, where the BGA and La Onda team up to take out a bunch of the high-ranking members of the AV, kind of like crippling them. But then there's a double cross.
Yep.
And several
Turns out that they kill all the Black Guerrilla Army dudes.
yeah, they kill all their high-ranking members, again, leaving them in shambles. And this is the part that actually made me go, "Oh fuck." Did you see it coming? That Mikolo
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, if you see enough movies, of course you see a double cross.
I dude, maybe I didn't want to believe it because of how good Montana was to him. But yeah,
Oh no, yeah. I saw that one coming.
yeah, Mikolo gave the order. Well, Fake gave the order to get Montana to be killed, and he played everyone like a fiddle.
Yeah, because you see everything at the end with Magic. Uh, you see with Magic, Magic has the mold of the pick because that's what they use to kill Montana.
Yeah, and Mikolo is left as Le Jefe and in charge of La Onda, and arguably much of the crime, gang, and drug situation going on in South California.
Oh yeah, I mean they killed everybody. They killed all the competition, and he sent off all his sergeants to different prisons.
With money to establish themselves and to establish more gangs, like
Yep.
to expand. The man is an entrepreneur, if nothing else. But yeah, Mikolo's story ends with him. I don't want to say drug lord, but sort of like a drug lord, kind of. I mean, he's still in prison, but El Chapo.
Yeah, so it ends with him disposing of
So
the comb,
yeah.
and him and Magic are pretty much in this to the end. Because I mean, even Magic turned on fucking Montana.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot. Again, Montano was approaching him from the perspective of a man who was seen as shit and is like, look, trust me, give me time. We need to work this out peacefully. I don't want our people to die for no reason. He has the interest of his people at heart. He doesn't want them to just fucking sacrifice themselves with no reason.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll say about Montano. He's not afraid to go to war, but only as a last resort.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
Copyright strike. We might, anyway. And lastly, we have Paco, who weirdly ends up the best of anyone. He
I
ends up,
know he turns on his boy and it makes him cripple.
I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. He was just trying to, like clip his ankle. But
Mm. Clipped more than his ankle.
huh?
Clipped more than his ankle.
Clipped everything below the knee. Which I wonder how they faked that. Like, because there's scenes where you see Mikolo's face and then you see like his missing leg. I'm curious.
I mean, I think it's a lot easier than what we make it out to be.
You might be right. Movie magic. You might be right. Um, but what's called
So
they?
how many times did you see Miklo full like with a missing leg?
You know what?
Not many times.
I can only remember the time where he got pushed over in the dirt and they took off his leg when the AV took off his leg. Now that
Yeah.
I think about it, that's the only time I remember seeing his face.
Which I know it's fucked up, but it was hilarious.
Oh, what the fuck? Jesus, dude. Oh man. What did they say?
Well, because he had to walk back naked, or not naked, but with his pants down.
Oh dude, Jesus. That's humiliation right there. I think if anything made him decide to become in charge, it was that. Because if you're in charge, that shit don't happen to you. But then Paco ends up joining first the military, and then he becomes a
Well,
DE.
first they try to play it off that he didn't. They try to play it off that he became a drug user or a drug dealer. Because
That's
remember
true.
the first scene that you see him in, he's doing a sting operation with Yolanda, that fucking bitch.
You're right. You're completely right. He why'd you say that fucking bitch?
Because it's the actress that plays Yolanda in the Selena movie.
Okay, you know what? You're right. Did you know that she's in SEG and she's never been removed from SEG? They tried it once, and within an hour, there was an attempt on her life, so they put her back in SEG.
Of course, there's gonna be an attempt on her life. One, it'll make him famous, and two, they probably liked her music.
That's why she's always been in segregation. They've never taken her out, except
Hmm?
once. They were like, "Oh, it's been like 20 years. Maybe she's ready for the." Nope, never mind. JK. But fucking yeah, you're right. I didn't catch that. They make it look like he's a drug dealer, like he's a drug dealer, and then nope, turns out he's a cop.
Yeah, because the chick is like rubbing him up and down, and she's like, "He's a fucking narc."
And he shoots. Does he kill both women at the same time or no?
I think he kills one.
He kills one, but I can't. No, he didn't kill both of them. The one that plays Yolanda warns someone else to run, and he chases them. I think he chases down Popeye. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Popeye's in the car.
No, but Popeye's in the car, but he arrests him.
No, yeah, but Popeye's never there. So he gets hit with PCP.
Yeah,
And then like they're cleaning his face off, and then Popeye drives by and he's like, "Oh shit, they caught our chick."
yeah, they're
And
lab.
then like he sees him and he's like, "That's a fucking guy. Like that's the guy that came for the drop."
Yeah. Um, what's it called? From there, he pretty much is on a war path to try and stop the violence because the violence does spill out into the real world.
Yeah.
And here we have a moment where he kind of like interacts with, eventually he interacts with Mikolo, he interacts with Cruz, he's exiled and whatnot. And Paco's
Well, like I forget how he runs into Cruz. Doesn't he go to his house?
yeah, he goes to ask him if he knows anything about the drugs and stuff. And he sees that Cruz has his little brother in one of his paintings.
And he's like, "Oh, you want him so bad?" He cuts the fucking head off and he's like, "Here you go."
Yeah. Which again, dude, like he's mourning also. I'm not excusing what Cruz did, but like it's not like he's saying, "Oh, it wasn't my fault." Like, nah, he wears that shit on him.
No, yeah, and he definitely feels like shit because it's his fault that his brother's dead.
Yeah. Um, what else? And then he kind of interacts with Mikolo, trying to get him to cause peace, to have a peace because of the violence that's going on, not just in the prison, but outside.
Yeah.
And Mikolo initially is like, yeah, no, I'll work with you to have peace. We're cousins, carnal, we're family. Mikolo just used him to take control of the gang.
Well, you and I, we say this a lot because I mean, we know how annoying it is. In most movies with Latinos, they'll have like the where they're using too much of like the Spanglish.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This movie it worked.
I think it was the earnestness because these felt like real people, real characters. Like these actors felt real. None of them are like fucking supermodels from a magazine or some shit. They look like actual normal fucking Hispanics that we see every day. They look like someone in our community. I think
Yeah.
that's part of it. But yeah, using ese, carnal, Simon, like all that stuff, it feels in place.
I feel like it's also that as well. Like that's all like California Mexican shit. I don't think I've ever heard any Texas Mexicans use ese or carnal.
Simon and carnal, yes. I never heard South Texas Hispanics say Mexicans say ese. That I've never heard.
Carnal maybe I've heard. I'll give you that. Maybe I've heard that.
Yeah.
But like ese, yeah, I've never heard
Huh.
ever.
But yeah, the Spanish again, it works. We call it Tex-Mex, but I guess we have our own dialect because also there is I won't say a barrier, but like there's certain things that you say that are to a particular area, like Boodle 956. I know
Yeah.
that's not Hispanic, but I'm just giving an example. That's shit that we say down here. They don't
Yeah.
say San Diego or Los Angeles. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, this movie, uh, we're not young, right? Like I would say we're older, we're more mature than we used to be. We can look at this from the perspective of older guys. Like, what did you think while watching this?
I mean, I love the cautionary tale of like, oh, like these guys like came from the same place, but like a few bad incidents changed everything for everybody.
Hmm. Would you show this movie to your son? Well, yeah, obviously to your family, but like, would you show this movie to your son as like a don't fuck
Maybe when
around?
he's like 15,
Yeah.
not like when he's like 5 and be like, hey, come
Oh
check
fuck
this
no,
out.
not when he's 5.
Come check this out.
Oh
You
no.
need to learn.
Dad, what's chon chon?
It's your butthole, son. That's what chonchon is.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Okay. Um,
That's what chonchon is. I hope you understand.
in Christ, man. Um, but yeah, man, I like that's a cautionary tale. I think it's a movie that should be watched more. Because I hate to say it, but do you think there are some stereotypes that are still true about our people?
Uh, I mean, I feel like as minorities, there's always gonna be that stereotype that we are more susceptible to crime, and it is usually like where we grew up. I mean, how many guys do we know like that fucked up one way or another?
Shit, that's true, and that's because we went to a good school. Now that I think about it, man,
Well, our school is actually considered the ghetto one, surprisingly.
which is weird because it's like we
I
actually
never
had,
felt like we were that ghetto.
yeah, like we felt like we had a bunch of prep kids, but apparently death row is still death row. Um, but what's it called? Yeah, now that I think about it, some of the guys that we grew up with. Did I ever tell you I saw one of our classmates in jail?
No,
He called my name. He actually, hey, Eddie, I went to school with you at Rowe, right? Class of 2012. I was like, what the fuck? I
you
went
don't
to,
know me, inmate. God, God.
oh no, no, man, no, I had his ass transferred immediately because
I
if
thought you
you,
started hitting him.
no, imagine, no, okay, he recognized me. I don't give a shit. He asked about Nikki. He's like, hey, did you marry her or whatever? And yeah, no, man. Word to the wise. If you're listening to this and you go to prison, you don't know the guards. Even if you went to school with them, you don't know them. Fun piece of advice. Also, if someone's trying to help you, don't take their help. They're probably
They're definitely trying to get some chonchon.
Fernie is actually right in this case. They're definitely trying to get some.
I don't
Especially
know. Unless you want to give up chonchon, I mean, that's up to you.
that's your business. I will not judge whatever you do. That's your life. Your life. What made you watch this movie? I know like you just said you've never seen it, but like what the fuck?
I had never seen it, and then I heard like, oh, it's finally on Hulu because I mean, you can't. I don't think you can find it on any streaming platforms.
Dude, it's for free on YouTube. I found like 4 versions on YouTube for free. I still watch it on Hulu, but yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, it's on Hulu. I'll give it a shot.
No, it's a solid movie, man. What would you rate it?
For me, I'd give it, I'd give it a solid A. Good story. It's a little long, but it doesn't really make you. I don't ever really felt like there was a part where I was like, oh man, like fuck, can this movie end already?
Yeah. Um, I feel like there are parts they could have cut, but I think the movie is better because like they give us the whole like picture, you know?
I like that end scene of him of Paco and Crucito like looking at the mural.
Yeah.
And it's the famous scene where Paco's like life's a risk, carnal. You said it yourself. You're a badass.
Yeah.
And then step your ass into the ring.
Yeah. Damn, this is a pretty good fucking movie. I have no idea why it doesn't get more love.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough to give these movies the respect they deserve. One, it didn't do great commercially when it came out. It actually lost money.
Oh yeah, no, this movie did terribly in the box office, which
But I mean it's a fucking whatchamacallit. It's a cult classic.
yeah. I would definitely agree with you. I would say that this movie is probably preserved, like in the same aspect as maybe like Boys in the Hood, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like up there. You think you'll ever get a remake?
Remake, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a remake. Do I think there should be a remake? Absolutely fucking no.
How come?
It's some because you and I both know, man. Like most of the time, remakes they fuck up the message, or they try too hard, and it just doesn't hit.
Yeah, that's true. There's very few films that ever copy the original that managed to get the lightning in a bottle twice. You're not wrong.
Yeah, so I mean it's tough. But one thing about this movie, I think it did a lot better than was American Me, because I know American Me stepped on a lot of toes of some very scary individuals.
How come?
So American Me is the unofficial like comeuppance of the Mexican mafia. Um, and one thing that they did in that movie is that they portrayed the leader when he went to juvie that he gets raped in prison. They didn't like that. The Mexican mafia did not like that one bit. So like there was some from what I remember,
Mhm.
if I'm correct, some people were even killed like because of the filming of this movie.
Oh, that's and actor Danny Trejo said in an interview that he was aware of at least 10 people that were murdered for their involvement in the film.
Yeah.
The first killing occurred 12 days after the film's premiere when one of the film's consultants, Charles Charlie Brown Marquez, a member of La M, was killed. Wow.
Yeah, so that movie stepped on a lot of toes, and the good thing that this movie did is that it didn't really say like what they were. It was a made up gang, but I mean, for the most part, it's accurate on how these gangs ran.
Wow. Huh. You know, I've never seen American Me. You want to watch that one next?
I've seen it once. I mean, we could watch it. For me, I always laugh while watching it because I'm like, this is it's it's just so funny at some points.
Ugh. Or fuck it, you can throw out another movie. We'll watch it next week.
Hmm,
We never saw Dodgeball.
that's true. We do need to do dodgeball.
You tell me, man.
Let's do dodgeball. It's liven the mood.
Fuck it. We'll do. Yeah, this one. I'm not gonna say Blood In Blood Out's a downer, but it's not exactly a funny movie.
Yeah, it's a very I
Solid?
wouldn't say serious movie, but it's not exactly going to be like a family friendly movie.
Fuck no. But yeah, that was our review of Blood In Blood Out. Have you seen it? Comment down below. Let us know. Fernie?
The outro.
Yeah, fuck it. Hit the outro.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for our review of the cult classic Blood In, Blood Out. Please check us out wherever you get your podcast needs Apple, Spotify, Google, anywhere you get your podcast needs. We are there. We'd like to put out podcasts every couple weeks or every week. Next week, we should be putting out a podcast for the 11 count.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, everybody. I'm Fernando,
I've been Eddie.
and this was your review of Blood In, Blood Out. Let's cut it.